At the dawn of the 20th century, the icy expanse of Antarctica stood as one of Earth's last uncharted territories, a siren song for explorers and adventurers. Among them was Ernest Shackleton, driven by an insatiable thirst for the unknown. He joined Captain Robert Falcon Scott's Discovery expedition to Antarctica in 1901. Shackleton's experience only deepened his passion for the polar regions. The South Pole had been reached, leaving the first crossing of the Antarctic continent as the last great prize. It was a challenge fraught with danger, a journey into a frozen wilderness. In 1914, Shackleton announced his audacious plan, the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition. His goal was to lead a team across the entire Antarctic continent. The expedition captured the public's imagination. Volunteers flocked to join Shackleton's crew, eager to be part of this historic endeavor. Shackleton assembled a crew of 27 men, each chosen for their unique skills and resolve. The expedition would test them to their very limits, demanding physical strength, endurance, and unwavering mental fortitude. At the heart of the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition was the Endurance, a sturdy, ice-strengthened ship built to withstand the crushing pressure of the Antarctic pack ice. Designed by Alexander Stephen and Sons in Dundee, Scotland, the Endurance was a testament to the ingenuity and craftsmanship of the era. On August 8, 1914, the Endurance, with Shackleton and his crew aboard, set sail from Plymouth, England. As the ship left the familiar shores of England behind, a sense of both excitement and trepidation filled the air. The crew knew they were sailing into the unknown, embarking on a journey that would test them in ways they could scarcely imagine. As the Endurance sailed south, the temperature dropped steadily, and the seas grew rougher. The ship battled its way through fierce storms and navigated treacherous ice floes, a constant reminder of the unforgiving nature of the environment they were entering. By December 1914, the Endurance had crossed the Antarctic Circle, leaving behind the last vestiges of civilization, entering a realm of almost unimaginable isolation. The sun circled endlessly, casting an ethereal glow over the frozen landscape. The ship steamed into a world of dazzling white, where towering icebergs drifted like ghostly galleons. The beauty of the Antarctic concealed a raw and unforgiving environment. The temperature plummeted, the air heavy with the threat of frostbite. The sea began to freeze around them, the ice thickening each day. The Endurance was caught in the relentless grip of the pack ice. Despite the danger, Shackleton remained optimistic, his resolve unwavering. He understood the risks, knowing nature held the upper hand. He rallied his crew, organizing hunting parties to supplement rations, ensuring they maintained a strict routine of exercise and duties. In the eerie silence of the polar night, a sense of foreboding settled over the expedition. The Endurance was now at the mercy of forces far greater than themselves. The pressure of the ice grew stronger, threatening to crush the ship. The crew, though outwardly stoic, knew their situation was becoming increasingly perilous. As the days turned into weeks, the Endurance remained trapped, her fate hanging precariously in the balance. The ice, driven by unseen currents and relentless winds, tightened its grip on the ship, its pressure growing ever more intense. The once solid timbers of the Endurance groaned and creaked under the strain, a constant reminder of the immense forces at play. Despite their precarious situation, the crew maintained a remarkable level of discipline and morale. Shackleton, with his innate understanding of human nature, knew that hope and purpose were as essential to their survival as food and shelter. He organized regular activities, from scientific observations to impromptu games and sing-alongs, anything to keep their spirits up and their minds occupied. The ship's carpenter, Harry McNish, worked tirelessly to reinforce the hull, shoring up weakened timbers and bracing against the crushing pressure of the ice. The crew pumped bilges, cleared ice from the decks, and fought a constant battle against the encroaching cold. Their efforts were heroic, but they all knew that they were merely buying time, locked in a desperate struggle against an implacable foe. As the Antarctic winter descended, plunging them into months of perpetual darkness, the situation grew increasingly dire. The temperature plummeted to unimaginable lows, the wind howling across the ice like a banshee. The Endurance, her decks now permanently tilted at a precarious angle, was slowly being crushed, her once proud hull groaning under the relentless pressure. By July 1915, the grip of the ice had become unbearable. The Endurance, once a symbol of strength, was now a prisoner of the ice. The crew, their faces etched with worry, could only watch helplessly. The ship's timbers began to buckle and splinter. On August 1, 1915, Shackleton made the decision to abandon ship. The crew salvaged what supplies they could, hauling sledges across the ice. Their ordeal was far from over. Shadowy. The sight of the Endurance, once a symbol of human ambition and resilience, being slowly crushed by the relentless pressure of the ice, was a heart-wrenching spectacle. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of sadness and awe, watched helplessly as their ship, their home, their only link to civilization, was swallowed by the frozen wasteland. With the Endurance gone, their situation became even more precarious. They were now stranded on a drifting ice floe, at the mercy of the elements and with dwindling supplies. The nearest land, Elephant Island, was hundreds of miles away, a speck of rock in a vast and unforgiving ocean. Shackleton, his leadership tested as never before, rallied his men. He understood that despair was as great a threat as the cold and the lack of food. He divided the crew into groups, assigning specific tasks to each man, fostering a sense of purpose and shared responsibility. Their survival, he knew, depended on their ability to work together, to remain united in the face of adversity. Their new camp, a collection of tents pitched on the shifting ice, offered little protection from the biting wind and freezing temperatures. Food was rationed, every morsel carefully counted, and the men huddled together for warmth in their flimsy tents. The polar night, with its perpetual darkness and bone-chilling cold, stretched endlessly before them, a stark reminder of the fragility of human life in the face of nature's raw power. As the pack ice drifted northwards, carrying them further from land and any hope of rescue, Shackleton knew that time was running out. Their food supplies were dwindling, their clothing worn thin against the relentless cold. He realized that their only chance of survival lay in reaching land, even if it meant embarking on a perilous journey across the open ocean in their small, open lifeboats. On April 9, 1916, after months of drifting at the mercy of the ice, Shackleton and his men launched their lifeboats into the frigid waters of the Weddell Sea. Shackleton, ever the leader, inspired his men with his unwavering determination and quiet courage. He understood that their survival depended not only on their physical strength, but also on their mental fortitude, their ability to maintain hope in the face of overwhelming odds. The journey across the Weddell Sea was an ordeal that pushed the limits of human endurance. The men, exposed to the full fury of the elements, battled freezing temperatures, howling winds, and driving snow. The boats, tossed about like corks in the turbulent waters, shipped water constantly, forcing the men to bail continuously to avoid being swamped. Sleep, when it came, was fitful and fleeting, snatched in cramped, wet conditions. The constant motion of the boats, the biting cold, and the ever-present threat of capsize made rest a distant dream. Yet, despite the hardships, the men persevered, their spirits buoyed by Shackleton's leadership and the faint glimmer of hope that kept them going. Food was scarce, their rations reduced to a meager handful of pemmican and biscuits per day. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, a constant companion to their exhaustion and cold. To quench their thirst, they sucked on chunks of ice, their lips cracking and bleeding from the cold. The vastness of the ocean, its surface stretching endlessly towards the horizon, was a constant reminder of their isolation, their utter vulnerability. They were but tiny specks of humanity adrift in a world of ice and water, their survival hanging by the thinnest of threads. After 7 grueling days and nights at sea, battered by storms and buffeted by icy winds, land appeared on the horizon. The sight of the desolate, snow-covered cliffs of Elephant Island, a forbidding speck of rock in the vast expanse of the Southern Ocean, was greeted with a mixture of relief and trepidation. They had survived the perilous crossing of the Weddell Sea, but their ordeal was far from over. Elephant Island, true to its name, was a harsh and inhospitable place, its shores pounded by relentless waves and its interior shrouded in a perpetual cloak of snow and ice. There was no sign of human life, no shelter from the elements, no hope of finding food. With their remaining strength, the men hauled their boats ashore, dragging them up the beach to a point above the high tide line. Exhausted and starving, they collapsed on the rocky shore, their bodies racked with fatigue and cold. Their immediate need was for shelter and rest, a chance to recover from the ordeal of their journey. Using the canvas from their boats and salvaged timbers from the wreck of the Endurance, they erected a makeshift hut, a flimsy barrier against the elements. The interior, cramped and damp, offered little protection from the biting wind and freezing temperatures, but it was a haven nonetheless, a place where they could huddle together for warmth and share their meager rations. Shackleton and 5 men set sail in the James Caird, leaving 22 behind, hoping to reach South Georgia for rescue. Shackleton's crew faced relentless storms, hunger, and exhaustion, navigating by stars, driven by Shackleton's unwavering spirit. After 16 days, they reached South Georgia, but had to cross a treacherous mountain range to reach help. Shackleton, Worsley, and Crean embarked on a perilous trek across South Georgia, driven by sheer willpower and the need to save their men. Shackleton organized a rescue mission, finally reaching Elephant Island on August 30, 1916, reuniting with all 22 men. The reunion was filled with elation and relief as Shackleton fulfilled his promise to save his men. The journey home was a time for rest and reflection, with Shackleton pondering the future and the lure of the Antarctic. Shackleton returned to civilization as a hero, but felt a profound sense of loss for the Endurance and the dreams it carried. Shackleton's death shocked the world, but his legacy of leadership and resilience continued to inspire. Shackleton's leadership during the Endurance expedition became a timeless blueprint for effective leadership in any field. The men of the Endurance, forever bound by their shared experience, returned to a world vastly different from the one they had left behind. The Great War raged on, casting a long shadow over their homecoming. Some rejoined the fight, their Antarctic experiences forever shaping their perspectives on life and death. Others struggled to readjust to the routines of everyday life, haunted by the memories of their ordeal. Despite the diverse paths they forged after their return, the bonds forged in the crucible of the Antarctic remained strong. They stayed in contact, sharing stories, offering support, and honoring the memory of their fallen comrades. The experience, though harrowing, had forged an unbreakable bond between them, a shared history that transcended the passage of time. Frank Worsley, the expedition's skilled navigator, continued his career at sea, his reputation enhanced by his remarkable feats of navigation during the Endurance expedition. He later wrote about his experiences, his words capturing the awe-inspiring beauty and unforgiving nature of the Antarctic. Ernest Wild, Shackleton's loyal second-in-command, joined Shackleton on his final Antarctic expedition and continued to explore the polar regions after Shackleton's death. He remained a staunch advocate for polar exploration, his contributions to the field earning him widespread recognition. Each man carried the lessons of the Endurance within them. reminders of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of courage, camaraderie, and perseverance in the face of adversity. Their stories, passed down through generations, continued to inspire and captivate, ensuring that the legacy of the Endurance lived on. In the decades that followed, the story of Shackleton's Endurance expedition transcended exploration, becoming a timeless tale of human endurance and leadership. Books, documentaries, and films brought the story to life for new audiences, each generation finding inspiration in the courage, resilience, and optimism displayed by Shackleton and his men. The story resonated with people from all walks of life, offering valuable lessons about leadership, teamwork, and the importance of never giving up hope. Today, the story of the Endurance continues to captivate and inspire, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. A century after the Endurance sailed into the annals of history, the story of Ernest Shackleton and his men continues to resonate deeply within the human spirit. Their epic tale of survival against overwhelming odds, their unwavering camaraderie in the face of unimaginable hardship, and their ultimate triumph over adversity offer timeless lessons for us all. Shackleton's leadership, characterized by his unwavering optimism, his deep empathy for his men, and his ability to inspire hope in the darkest of times, remains a beacon for leaders in all walks of life. His example reminds us that true leadership lies not in wielding authority, but in nurturing the spirits of those entrusted to our care, fostering a shared sense of purpose, and empowering individuals to achieve extraordinary things together. The Endurance expedition stands as a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit, our innate capacity to adapt, to overcome, and to emerge stronger from even the most daunting challenges. It reminds us that within each of us lies a reservoir of strength and determination, waiting to be tapped, that can guide us through life's inevitable storms. More than just a tale of survival, the story of the Endurance is a testament to the enduring power of human connection. The bonds forged between those men, tested in the crucible of the Antarctic, serve as a beacon of hope, reminding us that even amidst hardship and isolation, compassion, camaraderie, and a shared sense of purpose can sustain us. The story of the Endurance is not merely a historical footnote, a tale of adventure relegated to the past. It is a living testament to the power of the human spirit, a call to action for each of us to embrace the Shackleton spirit within ourselves. That spirit, forged in the icy heart of Antarctica, calls upon us to live lives of courage, to face our fears with determination, and to never surrender to despair. It challenges us to embrace the unknown, to step outside our comfort zones, and to seek out challenges that test our limits and reveal the depths of our own resilience. It reminds us that true fulfillment comes not from seeking comfort and ease, but from pursuing meaningful goals, from testing our mettle against the forces that shape our lives. The Shackleton spirit is not reserved for explorers and adventurers alone. It resides within each of us, waiting to be awakened. It is the teacher who inspires a struggling student, the entrepreneur who takes a risk to pursue a dream, the single parent who overcomes adversity to provide for their family. As we navigate the complexities of our modern world, let us remember the lessons learned amidst the icy plains of Antarctica. Let us embrace the spirit of Shackleton, facing our challenges with courage, compassion, and an unwavering belief in our own ability to overcome. For it is in pushing our boundaries, in testing our limits, and in supporting one another that we truly discover the boundless potential of the human spirit. Please like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel Untold Past, and ring the notification bell for more amazing stories.